Mitchell did release a statement that says, in part, her family is dealing with the pain of watching a loved one decline due to Alzheimer's.
The Minnesota Capitol Senate DFL leaders have now set an ethics hearing regarding Senator Nicole Mitchell. That's going to be on May 7th.
Those items were kept at her stepmother's home. Mitchell has been charged with felony first-degree burglary.
Embattled Minnesota State Senator Nicole Mitchell returned to the Senate floor earlier today, sparking a long day of discussion in the chamber.
He came right out and said if he were in Mitchell's shoes, he would consider resigning.
Case of Nicole Mitchell. Nicole Mitchell, a state senator from Minnesota, was taken into custody at a Detroit Lakes, Minnesota house one day earlier and charged with first-degree burglary on Tuesday morning. The victim, who was described as Mitchell's stepmother in a court filing, contacted the police to report an ongoing burglary at her residence, prompting the 49-year-old Democratic congressman to face charges. Following an apparent argument between the two ladies about items that supposedly belonged to Mitchell and her late father, officers took Mitchell into custody on the spot. According to the complaint, Mitchell stated, "I know I did something bad," following the reading of her Miranda rights by an officer. Mitchell was the subject of a restraining order on Tuesday. According to News, a judge approved Mitchell's release on the condition that she promised not to speak with her stepmother and not to leave the state without a court order. On Tuesday afternoon, State Senator Nicole Mitchell posted a message on her Facebook page revealing that a family member was experiencing paranoia related to Alzheimer's disease. Concerned about this medical information, Mitchell decided to visit the family member over the weekend.
Mitchell did release a statement that says, in part, her family is dealing with the pain of watching a loved one decline due to Alzheimer's.
Mitchell is a DFL lawmaker from Woodbury. She now faces an ethics investigation in addition to the criminal charge of burglary.
Paranoia, and that prompted her to check on that family member.
She shouldn't be allowed to vote on legislation until more is known about her ability to serve.
She entered a house she had frequented over the past 2 decades, where her child had even occupied a separate room at one point. Unfortunately, her actions startled the close relative, exacerbating their paranoia. Mitchell denies any involvement in theft, despite being accused. Mitchell's next court date is June 10. Mitchell hasn't discussed the event in public. A request for comment on Tuesday was not answered by her government office. It happened early on Monday morning. Detroit Lakes Police got a call concerning a break-in at around 4:45 a.m. local time. According to the victim, the suspect fled into the basement. Mitchell was discovered by the police inside the house, dressed all in black, including his hat and flashlight, which was hidden by a black sock. According to the district court complaint, State Senator Nicole Mitchell reportedly made the following statement to the victim while being detained. "I was just trying to retrieve a couple of my father's belongings because you wouldn't communicate with me anymore." When law enforcement officers searched Mitchell's backpack, they found several items, including Tupperware, 2 computers, a cell phone, and Mitchell's personal identification credentials. Mitchell explained to the police that her stepmother had cut off all contact with the family and her father had recently passed away.
Detroit Lakes was broken into. Woodbury State Senator Nicole Mitchell is at the center of burglary accusations tonight.
The Minnesota Capitol Senate DFL leaders have now set an ethics hearing regarding Senator Nicole Mitchell. That's going to be on May 7th.
Back to the Senate floor today, she had a new desk in the back corner and away from her normal seatmate, who was the chair of the Ethics Committee.
Tell what authorities say led up to the arrest of Minnesota DFL Senator Nicole Mitchell of Woodbury early yesterday morning.
Legal and personal turmoil. The tranquil town of Detroit Lakes, Minnesota was jolted awake by the disquieting events of Tuesday morning as news broke of the arrest and subsequent charges leveled against State Senator Nicole Mitchell. The 49-year-old Democratic lawmaker found herself thrust into the unforgiving glare of the public spotlight, accused of first-degree burglary in connection with a tumultuous altercation at her stepmother's residence. The chain of events leading to Mitchell's ignominious arrest commenced with a distress call to local law enforcement, as her stepmother reported an active burglary unfolding within the confines of her home. Responding swiftly to the urgent plea for assistance, officers descended upon the scene, apprehending Mitchell amidst the throes of an alleged dispute over possessions purportedly belonging to her and her deceased father. As the gravity of the situation began to dawn upon her, Mitchell's somber admission to law enforcement, "I know I did something bad," served as a poignant prelude to the legal quagmire that awaited her. The issuance of a restraining order against Mitchell underscored the severity of the allegations, casting a pall of uncertainty over her immediate future. In a bid to elucidate the circumstances surrounding the tumultuous altercation, Mitchell took to social media, penning a heartfelt missive that sought to contextualize her actions within the prism of familial strife and personal anguish.
It's not precedent to expel someone before the ethics committee meets. The ethics committee is going to meet in a week plus.
Those items were kept at her stepmother's home. Mitchell has been charged with felony first-degree burglary.
There is an ethics complaint that's been filed against Senator Mitchell, and the ethics committee will be holding a hearing next week.
For the first time since being arrested and charged with burglary, Minnesota Senator Nicole Mitchell returned to the Senate floor at the state capitol.
Citing the specter of Alzheimer's disease and its attendant manifestations of paranoia, Mitchell recounted her harrowing ordeal, expressing regret over the unintended consequences of her actions. Despite her protestations of innocence, Mitchell's fate now hangs precariously in the balance, with a court appearance slated for June 10 looming ominously on the horizon. The specter of legal repercussions and political fallout cast a long shadow over her political career, prompting soul-searching and introspection within the corridors of power. Against the backdrop of these seismic developments, questions abound regarding the veracity of Mitchell's claims and the broader implications for her tenure as a public servant. The specter of betrayal and familial discord looms large, casting a pall of uncertainty over Mitchell's professed commitment to public service and personal integrity.
And it comes after she was arrested and charged on Monday with burglarizing her stepmother's home.
Yeah, Kelsey, the Democrats have a one-vote majority here in the Senate, and without Mitchell, it's a whole new ball game.
A Minnesota state senator has been charged with burglary. Police say 49-year-old Senator Nicole Mitchell of Woodbury was arrested.
Embattled Minnesota State Senator Nicole Mitchell returned to the Senate floor earlier today, sparking a long day of discussion in the chamber.
In the court of public opinion, Mitchell's actions have elicited a maelstrom of conflicting emotions, with supporters and detractors parsing every facet of the case for evidence of malfeasance or extenuating circumstances. As the saga unfolds, the eyes of the nation remain fixed on Detroit Lakes, awaiting the resolution of a legal drama that has captivated the collective imagination. In the crucible of adversity, Mitchell finds herself ensnared in a web of legal entanglements, grappling with the specter of incarceration and political oblivion. Yet amid the tumult and turmoil, one cannot help but wonder what drove a seasoned politician with a distinguished military and meteorological career to the precipice of criminality.
Tonight, from the transcript of the 911 call in the criminal case involving sitting state Senator Nicole Mitchell.
His sources in the DFL say Mitchell's communication with her caucus is very limited at this point.
Critical legislation with the deciding vote being under such scrutiny.
New this afternoon, a Minnesota state senator is strongly denying allegations that she broke the law.
Complexities of allegations. The perplexing case of Nicole Mitchell has captured public attention, offering a glimpse into the complexities of familial discord, personal anguish, and the harsh realities of legal consequences. Mitchell found herself entangled in a web of allegations after being charged with first-degree burglary, a felony offense carrying severe penalties. The sequence of events leading to Mitchell's arrest unfolded in the pre-dawn hours of April 22, 2024, when law enforcement officers responded to a distress call reporting a burglary at her stepmother's residence in Detroit Lakes. Mitchell, allegedly clad in all-black attire and sporting a black hat, was apprehended in the basement of the house, triggering a cascade of legal proceedings and public scrutiny. The official complaint filed in court paints a vivid picture of the purported burglary, detailing Mitchell's clandestine entry through a basement window and the subsequent discovery of incriminating evidence in her possession.
Being charged with felony burglary, a Minnesota state senator has been stripped of her committee assignments.
I feel that process needs to be followed, but it needs to be followed now. We need to figure out what's going to move, how this body is going to move forward.
And you know, the fact that it's a stepmom, that makes it really, really tough. But
first time casting her votes today after being charged a week ago with felony burglary up in Detroit Lakes.
Among the items found in her backpack were 2 laptops, a cell phone, her Minnesota driver's license, and her Senate identification, along with miscellaneous Tupperware containers. Mitchell's admission of guilt, coupled with her stated intention of retrieving sentimental items belonging to her deceased father, cast a pall of incredulity over the proceedings. In her defense, Mitchell invoked the specter of Alzheimer's disease and associated paranoia, suggesting that her actions were driven by concern for a family member in distress. However, the veracity of her claims remains a subject of heated debate, with critics questioning the rationale behind her brazen intrusion into her stepmother's home. The political fallout from Mitchell's arrest has been swift and severe, with calls for her resignation echoing across party lines. Senate Minority Leader Mark Johnson minced no words in condemning her alleged actions, asserting that they constituted a betrayal of public trust and necessitated her immediate departure from office.
In disenfranchising, the state by having this cloud hang over the Minnesota Senate.
He came right out and said if he were in Mitchell's shoes, he would consider resigning.
If Senator Nicole Mitchell resigns, that delicate balance and a DFL trifecta are potentially on the line.
It's where you're just going to go and burglarize somebody's home. There's no place where that's ever right.
Meanwhile, Senate Majority Leader Aaron Murphy struck a more measured tone, emphasizing the need for due process while acknowledging the gravity of the allegations. As Mitchell awaits her day in court, the specter of legal retribution looms large, threatening to derail her once promising political career. Yet amid the turmoil and uncertainty, one cannot help but wonder what drove a seasoned lawmaker with a distinguished military record to the brink of criminality. The answer to this question remains elusive, obscured by the fog of conjecture and innuendo. Yet one thing is clear: Mitchell's downfall serves as a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the perils of unchecked ambition and the fragility of human nature. As the saga of Nicole Mitchell continues to unfold, it offers a sobering reminder of the enduring power of redemption and the imperative of accountability in public life.
Past few hours, State Senator Nicole Mitchell made her first court appearance on burglary charges.
Accused of breaking into her mother's home to retrieve her father's ashes and other items.
That's all for today, folks. See you another time.